The steaming heat of the alley like a cage. Steamed solid. Again made Vin's chest. He is angry at you. He is 24 years old. Just left college. Go home and apply for a job and wait. The age of living plastic. But locked up. In the gridlock of the old collective house. The house is just 30 square meters of yellow limestone walls. And share walls with another house. Owns house over there. They call you single. Vin doesn't know much about you. He just knows you're living in the wrong place. Since he was a kid. He called you. But you must be the same age as his mother. A woman over 40, maybe 45, 46. Your husband is gone. Someone told me to go on a long business trip. Some people say that you are abandoned. They are neighbors. The wall is as thin as a sheet of blue paper. So thin that the nights are still. Vin can hear your creeping footsteps. Her sigh, a tired, heavy breath. The water is flowing when you take a shower at night. And the smell. Own's house has a small yard that grows a garden. The best nights are those hot nights that are about to rain. The smell came through Len's door into his room. It doesn't smell like sparkling water. But it's sweet with an old smell. You will run. It's a triumph for a young man who has excess energy. I feel restless. He used to sit on the shelf naked smoking. Look at the yellow light bulb. Pushed out my window. He guess what you're doing? Sewing or sitting on a pillow. Or just like him. Are listening to the eerie silence of the collective. At night. It's been so hot these days. The ceiling fan creaking clean on top. It just gives off heat. Vin took off her sweat and wet her shorts. The crickets rumbled on the wild grass and it began. 1 drop, 2 drops. It's like the rain is falling out of the sky. The first rain is always so strong. It whips the floorboards on the roof, muffles all the sounds. The earth's steam soared. The heat is washed away. The air calms down. But the stifling in his chest wasn't. He lit his cigarette to go into the house and shut the window. Then here. Over the wall. A very soft thump and a moan. This is not the sound of joy. It's the moan of helplessness. He stood still. Hands up trying to filter the sound out of the rain. Again there's the clanking of water, the tangling of water. Hurry up with a shirt. Go around to Chung's backyard. There's a side yard in this dormitory. Where people put water tank pumps. It's also where the old well is. Not exactly a well. It's an underground rainwater tank. And an old pump from the pension era. The yellow light bulb came out of my kitchen. Your kitchen door is open. He saw you. I'm messing with the water tank mouth. She was wearing worn-out plum linen pajamas. The rain came and made my clothes stick. It's not the body of a young girl. It's a woman's body. Have gone through their free time. It's salty and it's plentiful. The heavy curves. It reveals the experience. You usually hide it. Behind her baggy clothes. Water, water, water is coming up from somewhere. The whole small kitchen. Sister Own. He called out with surprise and the sound of the rain. I was startled to come back. Her eyes widened in panic and shame. I quickly covered my chest. An unconscious act of a woman. Realize that I'm being insolent. In front of a young man. Children and grandchildren. Glad you haven't slept yet. My voice trembled from you so clearly. What does the well do? He didn't answer your question and walked over. The smell of the rain is now intertwined with the smell of the rain. The musty smell of well water. And your very own smell. The smell of an old woman. You don't know you're clingy. You turn on the pump and it doesn't go up. It keeps pouring dirty water. It's now upside down, flooding the entire kitchen. Vin looked down and the pump was leaking. But the problem isn't the machine. Dirty water from the common sewer. Because the heavy rain is pushing back into my underground tank. The well, or rather the broken throat. It's pouring out the smelly black water. You stay out. He said he didn't. He wait for me to answer. He's wading into that mess. Water up to the ankle. It's so dirty. You hold his hand. A very light grip. But the touch of 5 fingers is no longer soft. Non-silk. It's an acquaintance's hand. Labor's a little rough. His hands are cold because of the rain. It's like a small electric current. The glory stops for a second. Why don't you come in? Get me the flashlight. With something to seal this mouth shut. Hurry up. My sister rushed in. Glorious, look at your wet appearance. The way the thin suit sticks to the back plate. Into pairs of hips blossoming. He swallows his saliva. The rain outside is screaming. Cheer for something rising in his chest. Boy 24. It's a rainy night. And he's standing in a flooded kitchen. Of a woman. Worthy of my mother. I turned out with an old flashlight and a bunch of roots. Yes, I gave it to him. The flashlight's flashing right in my face. Glad to see one. The rain flowed down my cheeks. On the tip of the nose. And fall down on lips that are tight. My sister is not young. The skin around the eyes is wrinkled. But your eyes are deeply tired. And tonight it's got more panic. Hold the light for me. He bent down to start work. He has to clear. Front drain line. And then we can deal with the underground tank. Work dirty heavy hands and feet. The small kitchen is only a few square meters. You stand behind Vinh. His breath was hot on the back of his head. Mixed with the cold of the rain. This has to go down the drain hook. He said in your loud voice. Are you afraid to stand here? You didn't say anything. Only your breathing is faster. Vinh took a deep breath. Hold your breath. And stuck his arm down the black sewer throat. The water reached his elbow. He groped for a cry. Vinh is not your sister. The flashlight fell off. The kitchen sank into deep darkness. Only the sound of the rain was left. And the pounding breath of 2 people. Sister, my brother, I'm sorry I slipped. Vinh feels you are very close. The smell of magic. The smell of a woman's body pouring rain down his nose. Passionate. You stand still, he tried to calm down. Don't move. But he's still crouching, one arm down the drain. And he feels. There's something soft. Heavy and trembling just fell on his back. My sister is Own. The thick darkness of the small kitchen was compressed. The rain outside is screaming. Like tearing down the old roof. But inside, Vinh only heard 2 sounds. The sound of his heart pounding in his chest. And the woman's low howl. He just fell on his back. You are Own. The moment you fall into, everything stops. Vinh is in a bent position. One hand still deep in the stinking sewer throat. His back is bare with only a thin wet shirt. And he feels it. It's not a strong VA touch. It's a soft, heavy, shivering gourd. He felt the weight of his heavy chest. The body of a 46-year-old woman. Pressed against his shoulder. It's not as toned as young girls. It's soft, it's infected, and it's hot. His breath rushed to the back of his head. Bring the smell of rational. The smell of the rain and the smell of old squash. Characteristics of older women. That smell. In this ironic circumstance. Directly into the 24-year-old's sense of smell. It choked his chest. Sister, sister, sister Own. It's pretty big trying to keep me from losing my balance. Me, my sister Own stammered. I'm trying to stand up. But the kitchen floor is slippery. Her hands kept slipping on Vinh's sweaty back. That unintentional rubbing made his whole body stiff. He was ashamed. He was confused. And instinctively he can't control. He sees fornication. My sister is leaning on my shoulder. He gritted his teeth trying to pull his arm out of the drain. Dirty water splashed. She rushed to his shoulder. Your rough hands. The hand of a woman who is very familiar with labor. Squeeze his biceps. Your fingernails accidentally pressed against the flesh. Vinh takes a breath. Use your strength to stand up straight. Own's bag lost momentum and sat down on the dirty water. Oh my God, this is a shame. You rush back. The linen nightgown's flap has shifted to reveal the contours of an old ivory undershirt. He came back, groping in the dark. His hand touched the still warm flashlight. He pressed the light button with a flare. The first thing that caught his eye was his wife. I sit in the middle of the kitchen. Your hair is stuck to your pale cheeks. But plumes in pajamas. Glued to the body. Are you shivering because of the cold or because of embarrassment? Sister, your eyes. The eyes of a 46-year-old woman. Look up at him. It's no longer panic, it's full of shame. It's like you've been caught doing something very guilty. Do you have any weapons? Asked a hoarse voice. I am not SAO. I hurried my hand and tried to stand up. It's a natural reflex to hold out your hand. My sister hesitated for a second. Your eyes look at the big hand. It's covered in his dirt. Then I took it. His hands were cold and he pulled hard. Sister Own stood up stagnant. The air is worse than before it rains. The rain is still rumbling. But in the cramped kitchen, the silence between two people is even more terrifying. It's all dirty, Vinh said, trying to break the silence. He threw a flashlight down the drain. This doesn't work. The water is still boiling. He's not looking around your underground tank cover. My father pointed to the corner of the kitchen. It's hidden behind an old wooden box. It's under the wooden pantry. Glad to understand the problem. Reverse push drain water into the underground tank, and from the underground tank comes up through the pump, through the cracks of the tank lid. Want to solve thoroughly, must open the tank cover RA. See if the vents and exits are blocked. My sisters have to leave this. The old wood, though not much. But the rain became heavy. On one side he ordered. 2 people, a young man burning with energy. A salty woman that starts humming in the night. The kitchen is too small for that. They almost have to come together. Vinh in front of Own in the back. He bent down with his hands touching his feet. His mother's breath fell on his back. But this time there was no panic. There was only a shortness of breath because of fatigue. The situation called Ken safe, moving heavily on the brick floor. Okay, Own panted. They're backing off the concrete underground tank cover. It's soaking wet, and the dirty water is still bubbling through the cement's edge. Do you have a crowbar or something? Vinh asked me to find. She rushed into the house in the light. Vinh let his flashlight follow her steaming shadow. He looked down at his hand. The mud, and he smelled the smell of smoke. The smell of the woman still lingers on his flesh, mixed with the smell of sewers. A strange feeling running down his spine. Disgusting but also stimulating. She turned and held a solid iron rod. Used to make the old door. Can you do this? Glorious to take the iron bar. He flashed a light to find a gap in the lid. He slipped the iron rod in. It's heavy, he muttered. I told her to hold the light. Don't let it fall. Sister Own pursed lips to her hands trembled holding the flashlight. Light shining on a point. Vinh put all his body weight on the iron bar. He's a young man. Muscle roll. After months of waiting for work. CANs. The iron bar curled away, the tank lid just moved a little. God damn it, he stepped back and breathed. Sweat mixes with rain and dirty water. Or let Vinh Own whisper tomorrow. Just a little bit. Tomorrow he rotted the whole house, and he was angry. I'm not angry at you, I'm angry at your helplessness. He looked at her. She stood there cowering with her hands around her shoulders. That look of resignation suddenly made him more upset. I held a head of iron. He said, let me take it. When I tell you to pull it down, I'll use hand 7 on it. I have to do it at the same time. This is a gamble. But he had no other choice. Mrs. Owen hesitated. And then grabbed the key end of the iron bar. Your hand is right next to his. The warmth of the old woman's palms passed through cold iron rod. Vinh prepared. Shining a flashlight at my feet. Find a solid rock. Now. She also pulled the pull. To feel a dry noise. Tank lid pop up one corner. It's a thick, smelly air coming straight up. Owen coughed and hurriedly put the iron back. Vinh had to cover his nose, but he knew the opportunity had come. He threw the iron aside. Use both hands to turn the lid over. The sound of the concrete tank lid flipping the horse against the wall. Beneath it's a bubbling black hole. The dirty water is almost at the mouth. Shine down the flashlight. He saw a bunch of root-tattered rubbish. Is blocking the only drain throat. Vinh must go down there, Vinh said firmly. Come down with your mouth open. Not very dirty, but very deep. Dangerous. If you don't come down, we will swim together tonight. Vinh said. He looked at you. Hold the light firmly down. Stop shaking. My sister looked at him. Her eyes in the twinkling light suddenly flooded. It's not rainwater. You keep the light. Vinh did not say more. He sat on the edge. Take a deep breath of that smelly air. Slowly put your feet down. The iron ladder was rusted, leading into the depths of a thick black underground well. The flashlight in the woman's trembling hands. It's the only light that leads him down. The glistening black hole devouring the glory. It's a musty smell and a strong smell. Straight into his nose. Makes the 24-year-old's chest constrict. Cold dirty water breaker. As soon as his bare feet touched the stairs. The first iron, the cold. It's running slowly along the back. There was only a pair of yellow pants above. I threatened you, Dee. Second grade BA. Dirty water to the waist. And on the fourth level, it's frightfully cold. He felt something fluttering softly through the thighs. He gritted his teeth, trying not to think about what it was. The flashlight only illuminates a small circle. All around him. Darkness like a thick wall. Characteristic smell of sewer. Do you see, Vinh? Her voice trembled when she was lost. Not too deep. He's down the last step, the water's up to his chest. He used his shirt with holes in his skin for nothing. He shone a light at his feet. Just as he thought. A tuft of tattered roots and braided plastic bags. Sealing the drain throat. I see it, but it's stuck. He took a breath, trying to hold his breath. Then bend over. Both hands deep into the black water. He's trying to steal that shit. It's incredibly tough and it grips. He cradled himself. The cold and smell made him vomit. He couldn't hold it for long. He must rise up. Cuckoo. He coughed and clung to the iron ladder, panting. Vinh, do you have a SAO? Vinh. Her voice above was full of panic. Frenzied panning lights. And cut the messy streaks of light up into a wet tank. I am not SAO. He shouts dirty water from his hair to his face. But you have to dive to hook it up. You keep the light. If you see that I haven't been up for too long, run and call someone. He's not waiting for you to answer. Vinh knew he only had one chance. He took a deep breath. Tighten your chest a bit, full of stench. Then he sank into the cold darkness. The world is suddenly silent. There's only a buzzing sound in the ear. His hands are groping in the swarm. He picked up a root. He used the young man's strength. It doesn't move. He felt his lungs start burning. The cold was drawing out all his strength. He can't take it anymore. Just as he desperately tried to let go of the sprouted hand, then his hand touched a hard object. A bamboo stick or a piece of water pipe. It's wrapped in a tuft. He realized this was the key. He did his best to break it. A dry noise echoing through the water. And immediately he felt a pull of water begin to swirl. So hurry up and sing, haha. He's got his neck up, breathing air into his lungs in pain. Vinh, 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 Vinh. Oh my God, you? Your cry is no longer a whisper. It's a scream. The scream of extreme fear. Owen is kneeling at the edge of the tank. The flashlight that hit his face trembled. He saw your eyes flooded. I'm done, he breathes. It's drawing water under his feet. The water is swirling, and it's forming a little funnel. The sound of the rushing water echoing in the walls of the tank. He clung to the ladder and began to climb. But the cold and exhaustion came faster than he thought. His muscles cramped. His hands are covered in mud. No longer firmly attached to the rusted iron. First order, second order. He slipped his hand. He fell back into the dirty water. Now it's only sideways, but the pull is still strong. Glory to you. My sister is so slippery, he grinds his teeth trying to hold on. He feels ashamed. 24-year-old can't climb the ladder. He used me not only because of the cold but because of fear. Wait. Above. The flashed flashlight glowed dimly into the corner of the wall. Vinh saw the shadow of Owen. I didn't run to call people. My sister is a 46-year-old woman. Who he always thought was wrong and weak. He just did something he couldn't imagine. I lie in the dirty kitchen. The water hasn't been drained yet. Soaking wet your pajamas. Sister creeping out the edge of the tank. 01 Little hesitation. I said, come down here, quick hands. Her voice was no longer trembling, it was hoarse and powerful. Glorious, look up. He saw your face close to his mouth. Your hair is falling down. He saw your eyes glow in the dark. He held up his shaky, dirty arm. Immediately a rough but warm hand. Grab his wrist. Your hand clenched its nails, pressed against his flesh. You're up, you're up. Her hot breath flowed straight down his face. He smells the smell of smoke, the smell of sweat and the smell of fear. She pulled Vinh to put her foot into the tank. He came out of the hole. His whole body wobbled and he fell to the kitchen floor. He's lying there breathing like a fish thrown ashore. My whole body trembled. The dirty water from his body mixed with the rainwater on the floor. She also let him go back and sit down. Against the wall. The kitchen sank into silence. There's only the fake rain outside. And the sound of the water. All under the hole. And the sound of breathing. The breath of two people. She turned her head and looked at him as well. I sat crouched in a dark, drenched corner. The dim light from the flashlight thrown in the corner. On your face. It's no longer shame, it's no longer fear. It was an eye that he. A 24-year-old like he's never seen. In a woman. Time is special. Thinning out because the rain has ceased to scream. There's only fakes and sprinters. It's all under a black hole. The soldiers on the floor were exhausted. He shivered in the cold of the water. Of the late night's rainwater that's really seeping in. It soaks into the flesh, into the bone marrow. He's got two teeth, he's starting to clump together. Lock cock. His whole body is a mess of black mud and trash. And the stench is so strong. He turned his head. In the dark corner. She is also sitting with her back against the wall. And you also shiver. Two people, one old, one young. I just went through a struggle. Look at each other in the light. The glow of a flashlight that was left in the kitchen. Light is weak but enough. That's enough to see the 46-year-old. It's no longer the wrong shadow. He still sees through the wall. My sister is also wet. Plum 9th thin linen pajamas. Now stick to people. It sticks to the round shoulders. Into heavy breasts sagging by the years. And by the weight of the water and the belly. It exposes all of reality. Of a woman's body. It's been a long time. Body salty, but the momentum does not hide. My face feels hot despite the cold. 24-year-old boy, no matter how much he watches online. I've never faced an image. That's so true. He quickly turned his face and looked at the darkness in front of him. The silence is broken. You're cold, aren't you? Glorious Own's voice echoed. It no longer trembles with fear, but it hoarders as if under pressure. Vinh did not answer. But his shiver said it all. Take a breath. Slowly stand up your hands. A heavy act. The wetsuit makes it difficult for you to move. You have to take a shower. Take a shower, my voice suddenly became clear. This is the feeling of death. It's an old man's voice. Ordering a child. He sat up and looked down at his body. A pile of mud. He also recognized the problem. But my house, he faltered. How can you go home? I cut your body like this. You're all dirty, you shower here. The water is dirty, but the water is clean. I've cooked all the hot water for you. Looking up, he looks at you. She stood there, 2 hands down. The dim light is coming back from the bottom. It makes your face tired. It's smelly, but the eyes aren't. His eyes were bright and he looked at him. A frank look. A look from the woman who pulled him up from the hole. It has no evasion. There was no shame in the beginning. It's just fatigue and a little bit of interest. My sister is also wet, Vinh said in a loud voice. He couldn't look directly at his sister anymore. Go inside and change first. I heard him say that. She suddenly realized. I looked down at my body. A red line flashed up her neck. But I didn't panic, I didn't cover my hand. You're just nodding your lips. I was silent for a second. Uncle, you sit here for a moment. You soften your voice. I'll go get the towel and get you the clothes. I said, turn your back. Look at the way the old man came in. The house in the dark. Set clothes. That thought flashed through Vinh's head. He knows you are alone. He had never seen another man. In and out of this house. There was another one running along his back. Not just because of the cold this time. He was left alone in the smelly kitchen. With the cold soaking in. And a question hovers endlessly. Soldiers crouched on the cold cement floor. Next to the well hole. It stopped screaming now. But all that's left is the sound of a slow, steady sprint. The cold is no longer a shock. It's become something that's insidious. It's creeping into the bone marrow. To his whole body. A tough 24-year-old has to shake every now and then. It can't be controlled. He rubbed his hands on 2 calves. Trying to create some friction warmth. But the smelly moisture from the mud. Still clinging to the flesh. It's a strong smell that makes his chest stink. He heard her footsteps inside. Not the creeping footsteps. He's still listening through the wall. It's a definitive creaking sound. Of an old closet opened. 24-year-old sitting motionless at night. My mind gets confused when a question comes up. My sister lives alone. This the whole AI collective knows. The house next door is always quiet. There has never been a man's voice. Go in and get him something. The sound of footsteps coming back more slowly. My sister appeared at the door. I was in a hurry to put on a thin windbreaker. Wet pajamas. Cover the salty lines of a woman's body. 46 years old, an act that keeps the mind. It's like creating a gap. Your voice is a little hesitant. There was no more panic that had gone down. Tired of holding it. Give him a towel. It's not an expensive fluffy towel. It's an old bucket towel that's turned porridge color. But it's incredibly clean. It smells like the scorching sun of summer. The smell of tidiness. And the bottom is folded right down. It's a dark mossy blue silk nightgown. A color that fades over time. But it still shines with luxury. The age of a carefully stored object. A cold current running along Vinh's spine. It's even worse. Water well when that thought came. This expensive silk pajama is from AI. He looked up at you. But she immediately avoided his eyes. Go away, she said in a small voice. The things my brother's family left behind. Yes, Vinh knows you're lying. The way your finger tightens the silk fold. Before giving it to him. The way you turned your face away denounced it all. This is the invisible man stuff. The husband went away. The one they whispered about left you. He didn't ask. Just nodding. His hands covered in mud and he did not dare to take it. The bathroom is at the end of the kitchen. Doesn't seem to want to prolong the moment. To receive this oddity. The water is clean. Take a shower. I went to the ginger kettle. I hurried back to the kitchen. Gamini. Thin back in a baggy windbreaker. Turn back to him. It's as if you don't want to see him holding those clothes. I don't want to see him intrude. Into my only memory. Vinh stood up. Dragging his bare feet towards the bathroom. It's a small bathhouse. Just one person managed to get out of the kitchen corner. But it's surprisingly clean. The old brick floor is carefully scrubbed. 01 little dirty. There's a scented soap cake on the little shelf. The smell of jasmine soap. And a bottle of concentrated dandelion shampoo. The smell of women. The smell of a woman living alone. Clean and tidy and lonely. He closed the door. Started peeling off the smelly, tattered briars. Be a whole top. The shorts stuck to the skin as cold as ice. He threw them in a corner. To reveal the muscular body of the 24-year-old. Totally naked. Water he turned on the shower, cold water but clean water. Water tumbling down to the top of the head. A sense of ecstasy to shiver. The water drips away the black mud from the hair on the face. On his muscular chest carried away the stench. Leaving a bitter cold but a clean cold. He reached for the soap on the shelf. The jasmine soap cake. But its smell. Still fluttering through the wall every night. And now it's in his hand rubbing against his chest. Onto the arm creating a soft white foam. He's washing his body. The smell of that woman. His chest pounding violently. He tried to flush the water quickly. As soon as he turns off the faucet. Shivering to reach for the towel. Then the sound was loud. The knock on the door was very soft. But in a tight space. It's like a hammer. Vinh was startled. He stood dead barefoot and wet. Vinh Crane. Owen's voice echoed. Right behind the thin plastic door tang. The voice also seems tense. I stopped the water and it was hot. You opened the door. I gave you the last drop of water to keep you warm. Not feeling dead. Open the door. He looked down at his body. Hurriedly wrapped the towel around her hips. The old bucket towel just barely covers the fragile. His heart wants to jump out of his chest. He heard her breathing. I'm standing right outside. Very close. Yes, sister, wait a minute. He tiptoed trembling and pulled open the door. A small opening is pulled out just one hand. He saw your hand. The rough hand of the woman who knew labor. He's carrying a small, steaming pot of aluminum. He reached out his hand to grab the pot. Immediately his fingers were cold and soaking wet. I've touched your hot skin. Like a current of electricity. They both pulled back, but it was too late. That touch, even if it's fleeting. But clearly naked. His hot water wave comparison almost poured. Be careful, you hurry. This time my hand gripped his wrist. It's not a panic squeeze. As if pulling him up from the well. It's a solid one. Let him hold the pot steady. The water is hot, sister. The heat from the water pot. And even your clasping makes my face glow. Through the narrow door. He only sees part of your face. Dimmed in the steam. Your eyes are also looking at him deeply. Unknown emotions. Then you let go. Your hand bounces off me. Vinh hurriedly pulled the pot in and slammed the door and gasped. He's leaning against the door. The heart's pounding. He looked down at the water. Dark yellow water, fragrant ginger smell, fresh ginger. He slowly poured water on him. It's a completely different feeling. The old hot water made him red. The heat runs slowly on the shoulders. On the back and a little ginger puff into the nose. Through to the mind. The cold in the bone marrow is knocked out. His blood is slowly flowing. It's not just warm. It's a touch, a care. Something too intimate. Too secretive. Between a young man and a woman worthy of her mother's age. He wiped himself dry, and he looked at the moss blue silk pajamas. The cool silk slipping on his flesh. The flesh has just been made hot by ginger water. Wide and it's wide. A baggy shirt with long sleeves through the fingers. Pants are also wide. It's obviously the stuff of a man bigger than him. Vinh stood in front of the mirror looking at himself. A guy 24. In a man's sleeping clothes. Gone or gone. He smells of silk. It doesn't smell like a towel. It smells of camphor. The smell of memory is stored away. He came out of the kitchen still dirty. But the smell was somewhat drowned out by the ginger smell. Owen is sitting on a bamboo hammock in the corner of the kitchen. I also changed clothes. A dry, dark corrugated cloth suit. Your hair has been tied up neatly. To reveal the tired white nape. I hear the sound of you lifting up. Your eyes are still. I looked at him, the young man in the moss green suit. Your eyes are no longer tense. And it suddenly softens and gets wet. A deep sadness. Vast in the woman's eyes. You look at him. But you're looking at a different AI. Somewhere far away, somewhere far away. He pulled his shirt too wide. Thank you for this dress. Owen's voice was hoarse. She moved her chin to the chair opposite her. Give him a cup. Drink it warm. The ginger water is still hot. He picked up his finger and they touched again. No one pulled back this time. He sat down. Owen sitting across the. Between them is a silent well. And a silence heavy with the unspeakable. Two people sitting across from each other in a messy kitchen. Smelly. Only illuminated by a flash of yellow light. Between them. The black well hole glowed like an eye of the night. Was silent, no longer howl. Only the sound of the sprint was all soft. Outside the rain has died down. No more the cry of the first. There's only a little noise left. 6 chiseled. Of the last drops of water falling from the eaves. The tired silence outside. It makes the silence inside even heavier. Almost suffocating. Hold the cup. The heat of the ginger water was still on his warm face. He took a sip of the pungent taste of fresh ginger. Straight up the nose. Running slowly through the chest, waking up every blood vessel. But it can't get rid of that sense of aggression. That weird feeling of guilt. When he realized he was sitting here. In your kitchen. Whereon. The sacred memory of another man. He looked at me and I didn't drink. You just sit there. 2 rugged hands blue flood. Knit together tightly. Put it on your lap and you're watching. Not looking at him. I'm staring at the moss blue silk pajamas. That he's wearing. Your eyes. The 46-year-old woman's eyes have tasted too much. Suddenly lost focus. It's no longer panic. It's no longer fatigue. It's looking through him, looking somewhere far away. A memory area that he, 24-year-old boy like him, can never touch. Own for a long time. Your voice is not a whisper. It's hoarse, it's broken in silence. Like a piece of glass that's just been crushed. The glory startled. The glass of ginger water almost came out. He looked up. What you said. I told her to take a breath and her lips trembled. It's been a long time since this dress was worn. The whole Vinh is stiff. He feels the coolness of silk on my flesh. It suddenly became heavy. The faint smell of camphor. The smell of stuff in the closet. Suddenly, it's straight up his nose. Turn that feeling of guilt away. It's a tangible shame. He violated. He's wearing the invisible man's clothes. I'm sorry, he cracked his voice. I didn't know this was my husband's. She said out loud. 2 words in the kitchen. It's drier than the thunder. It cuts the awkward membrane between them. It confirms. Glad to see my chest choking. He hurriedly put down the glass of water. He wants to take it off immediately. The thought I'm wearing the shirt of a dead man, or someone who left, make him feel like a clown. A blasphemer. Take it off now. He stood up all the time. Two hands hastily grabbed the silk skirt. When I came home, my mother's voice suddenly cracked. The rush was almost a small scream. I also stood up. Break up as if to stop him. A panicked reflex. Both stood staring at each other. The small kitchen suddenly became too small. She seemed to realize her hurry. She lowered her hands down awkwardly, her breath rushed. I sat back down on the couch, facing the yellow lime wall. As if you're confused too. Because of my own reaction. Glorious, and it is time to see. He saw you raise your hand. Not to cover your face. It's to shut your mouth and try to stop a hiccup. A sound popping out from deep in the chest. The 46-year-old woman. The one who screamed was lying on the dirty kitchen floor. He pulled him out of the black hole, now crying. This is not a sobbing cry. It's just the thin shoulders and the dark clothes fluttering. Quietly. A silent crumbling that's more terrifying than a scream. I'm trying to swallow that pain inside. Right in front of him. Heart of Glory tightened. It's a very unpleasant, throbbing sensation. 24 for the first time in his life. He did not see her as a masquerade. Salty but wet. Like in the rain before. He doesn't see you as an object of curiosity. He sees you as an extremely lonely woman. A weak woman. I'm stuck in this old house. And he accidentally pierced through that shell. A feeling that is not a desire. It's compassion. There's a very masculine protective instinct rising in him. He slammed the glass to the floor with a sound of dry brick. My sister stopped, the hiccups also choked. I turned to look at him with surprised eyes. Next time he spoke in a loud voice. My sister looked at him stunned. Next time. Vinh looked straight into her sister's red eyes. Or anything broken. You keep hitting the wall. He stopped for a second. Take a breath and speak slowly and clearly. Banging on even in the middle of the night, I hear. Vinh's words a firm promise of the 24-year-old. I hear it hanging in the kitchen. Smashing into the thick silence. It's like a stone thrown into a hole. The well has just fallen silent. Own sister, own stunned people. Thin shoulders are fluttering with hiccups. Suddenly stiffened. I raised my head to the water. My eyes are still hanging on my tired cheeks. But your eyes are no longer weakness. You're a surprise. A deep confusion. Even a little bit of panic. When he realized the nakedness of his words. He's a boy worthy of children. Standing there in your husband's pajamas. And he's pitying you. But that thought is more bitter than ginger ale. Straight up. The 46-year-old woman found her face hot. A heat of shame. For revealing a moment of weakness. It's worse than the shame of my wet pajamas. Hurry and turn your face. Give the back of the hand rough rapid streaks of tears. Trying to get back the shell of being distant. My sister's voice was hoarse, trying to look normal. What the hell are you talking about? Late at night. A man goes banging on the wall of his neighbor's house. I'm trying to push him out. Try to push back your boundaries. He himself just walked by. And in a moment of weakness I let it go. I'm telling the truth. He repeated, his voice without hesitation. He felt he needed to emphasize. Not out of pity. But because of something he doesn't know. It's a man's instinct to protect. Even if it's clumsy, the thin wall. If you hit hard, I will. The determination in his voice. The stubbornness of youth. You can't argue with me. You are silent, and that silence is. And it makes the air very awkward. The moment of intimacy that had just broken. Leaving a gap between their ages and their identities. Clearly one. My grandkids back to Vinh, stand up. I feel like I can't stay a second longer. The feeling of awkwardness. When wearing someone else's clothes. It makes him redundant. A glass of ginger water. Very good, thank you. He walked towards the door. Barefoot steps on the still wet cement. Wait. She hurriedly called back, her voice a little hurried. Vinh is back. My sister did not look at him. Her eyes turned to the bathroom door, where the pile of dirty clothes, wet with his stench, still lying naked like a pile of tattered briars. The red jade rose. He forgot. I'm sorry to let you. He hurried over to pick up that mess. Don't stop, your voice a little irritated. As an adult, I'm yelling at a child who doesn't know. Are you going to take that shit home right now? Let the whole family rot. It's dirty, I'll wash it early tomorrow. I told you to leave it. Her voice became firm. The voice of an old woman. Get used to arranging things. No arguing allowed. Go to bed and I'll wash it tomorrow. The 2 words I washed made my hands hot. Why not be honored to oppose the weak voice chirping? That's underwear. I'm a man. The more men have to go to sleep. It's just a bit harsh. You just dived into that hole. If you're sick, it's even worse. Go back to sleep in order. The glory of standing still. He's a 24-year-old who's been scolded like a kid. But strangely, he's not upset. He feels embarrassed. So this suit. He pointed to the mossy green pajamas he was wearing. Please wear it on your back. You don't look at him. It's looking at the kitchen as if calculating something. If your clothes are dry, I will call you back. It's a very obvious compromise. It binds them. He has to come back. I'll do his laundry. A strange woman. A neighbor worth her mother's age. Washing underwear for a young man. That thought made the world hot. Running slowly up to the top of the head. Oh yes, thank you. He said, go to bed early and close the door carefully. She just nodded and said nothing. I hurried out of the kitchen. Out of the ginger smell of the mud and the smell of the woman. A small alley after the cold rain. In the smell of earth vapor and the smell of HOA stronger. It's a sweet smell. He took a deep breath. The cold in the lungs is still hot ginger water. And walked quickly to my room door. The room is shared. He can feel it. Even if I don't come back. She was standing at the kitchen door watching him. Look at his back. In her husband's moss green pyjama. The door of his room opened and Vinh entered. Close the door then. He walked into his room. The messy, stifling air. The smell of cigarettes and the smell of a young man's loneliness. Immediately creates a sharp contrast with the kitchen. It's messy, but it has the warmth of ginger water and the woman's interest. He stood in the silent room. He touched the silk cloth on his chest. The cool soft fabric. Slippery on the skin. It's still hot. Creating a strange feeling of unease running slowly. He pressed his shirt up his nose. Take a deep breath. Trying to find the dry smell of old camphor. The smell of an absent man. The smell of a sealed memory that a boy is putting on. In the morning, the 24-year-old boy suddenly finds himself a thief. An intruder. He took off his clothes as if they were burning him. And threw it on the chair. He put on his shorts and climbed into bed. Rough GA sheets and a musty-smelling blanket. But he couldn't sleep. His whole body was still suffering from the cold of silk. Caressing. His nose still smells of ginger and camphor. And his hands. His hands are up towards the wall. Thin lime wall tang. Over there he heard. The rustling water. And the brushes rustling against the brick. A strong, powerful sound as if venting anger. Then he heard CA. The end of the heavy wooden box being pulled away. And your breath is falling. A muffled sound when you use your strength. A sense of guilt, a powerlessness that rises. He is a man. He promised he'll help, and now he's lying here. I heard that woman struggling. Alone with the mess. He's also part of the reason. He wants to get up, but he can't. The boundary has been drawn. You go back to sleep. Your sister's words didn't hit the wall. That means you don't need him. This helplessness is more unbearable than the cold. He lay still holding hands and listening to the scrubbing. Then the water in the bathroom. I'm taking a shower. Those thoughts made his chest thump. He imagined her pouring water. Wash away the mud. He imagined the smell of jasmine soap. He closed his eyes and put his head on the pillow, trying to shake off the image of sin. After a while everything was quiet. The sound of scrubbing is gone. He heard a very quiet click. My sister turned off the kitchen light. Beyond the wall there's absolute silence. Vinh opened his eyes, staring at the wall in the dark. He knows right now. Just a thin layer of grout from his own sister is also lying. I'm lying in my bed. Are you thinking about him? Or thinking about a man, owner of moss green pyjama set? Or you're thinking, is the young man over there listening to me? The wall is no longer a barrier. It's become a rope. Fragile but stretched like a pan. He just lies like that. Listen to the silence until the sun rises. I'm tired of falling asleep. And when he woke up, the sun was up. The sun skews through the door slits. Last night's rain was like a strange wet dream. The first thing he did was look at the chair, where the moss green pajamas are still lying there, folded right up. He was stunned. He doesn't remember folding it. He hurried to get dressed. He walked out the door with his folded pajamas. He has to give it back. He has to get his stuff back. He walked out into Chang's sunny alley and he saw, on the common line between the two houses, his dirty clothes. The 3-hole shirt, the shorts are hanging short. They've been washed clean. It smells like soap. They're still steaming. A little light in the scorching summer sun. My sister washed them. Maybe it's dawn. I washed and dried his underwear. Vinh stood dead, blood on his face. He's holding your husband's clothes. I just washed his underwear. This exchange is too much. As soon as that burning sense of confusion rises, suddenly he heard a noise. There was a very small sound coming from inside my house. It's not the sound of banging on the wall. It's not the signal you're calling him. It's a moan. A muffled but painful sound. It's as if someone just tried to bend down. And there's a sharp pain in my back. His heart jumped. The promise I made last night wasn't broken. But he heard it. Unreasonable anger rises. He was angry at that woman's resignation. Last night I tried to pull the wooden case alone. He tightened his silk pajamas in his hands. He doesn't knock on your door. He doesn't want to embarrass you. He walked quickly to his room and closed the door. He walked straight to the wall. He pressed his ear against the cool lime. Again a clearer moan. He took a breath, raised his fist, and knocked. 2 knocks is definitely not a question. That's an answer. Over the wall all sounds are silent. 1 second, 2 seconds of silence as tight as a string. And splashed it back through the grout. A weak but clear answer to a knock. I listened and I answered. Their secret language has begun. A faint knock from the other side of the wall echoed. As a confirmation. A tired answer. And it tightened Vinh's chest. You didn't hit the wall. You didn't call him. I just groaned and when he knocked I answered. That resignation. The attempt to hide. The lonely pain of the old woman. Suddenly made paper up in the chest of the 24-year-old. An annoyance. It's a protective emotion, almost like anger. I promised I didn't. He tightened his mossy blue silk pajamas in his hands. Cool silk cloth. It's like he's collecting heat from the palm of his hand. He couldn't stand still in his room anymore. By the promise I heard last night. It's not an impulsive statement. It's a knife. And that weak squeak is acceptance. He opened the room door. Walked quickly through a small alley that only one person can walk. The morning sun was shining down on Chang. in stark contrast to the wet air. The secret of last night. His underwear is still hanging on the line. Fragrant jasmine soap. A proof. For the strange intimacy that's just arisen. Own's door is only closed without a lock. It's like a week wait. After the signal through the wall. He doesn't knock anymore. He used his fingers to push. The old wooden door gave a loud cry. His voice cracked as he walked in. There was no immediate answer. There's only one breath. A murmuring sound of pain. Out from the corner. He walked in, and the first thing that caught his eye was order. Kitchen people. Where last night was a full-blown battlefield. The mud is now dry and clean. The heavy wooden box was pulled back to its original position. Cover the mouth of the well. As if to seal last night's story. But it's just a musty smell. The smell of ginger and the smell of jasmine soap is still mixed. Again. To create the kind of atmosphere that characterizes this house. And he saw you. The 46-year-old woman. Is curled up on an old bamboo hammock. Put it in the corner. Were you still so? I've been wearing the same dark suit since last night. His pale face buried in the colored pillow. Her back to the door shrank like a shrimp. And it's shaking. Vinh stepped forward and put the folded pajamas on the table. What's wrong with you? I was startled trying to turn around. But a piercing pain stopped me. She wrinkled her face and bit her lips tightly, the sweat on her forehead. No sao. She breathed softly and looked at you to get something. It's all dry. Your sister has back pain. Vinh interrupts. The anger in him is bigger than last night. Did you pull the touch alone last night? Sister Own is silent. But the silence itself is a confession. Oh my God, I can't hide my anger. I told you not to call. Own closed her eyes. A bitter tired smile bloomed on dry lips. What women call you? I just have a tight back. Lying for a while is. I try to push people to prove it. And again a cry of pain came out. He looked at me and he looked around the room. He has to do something. 24-year-old boy with his strength feels helpless. Even if you have massage oil. He asked his sister to look at him in surprise. The thought of a young man massaging himself. It seems to be worse than the pain. Yes, but only. Where is the glory? The old woman. Before the young man's rather crude determination. Suddenly I lost my strength. You're chuckling on a goat antler. He looked in the direction of the old wooden cabinet. Too high for the head. He pulled up the perched chair. Reached out his muscular arm and took down a bottle of Truong sun oil. It's a hot, spicy oil that smells like old people. He's holding an oil bottle. You have to lie down. Your mouth is open and you are going to. I know massage Vinh lies. Even though he used to go to the lake. The builders don't punch their backs every night. Oil each other. You don't massage this back. It's stiff. Tomorrow will hurt more. Lie down quickly. It's an order again. My sister looked at him. Your eyes are full of shame. But the pain seemed to prevail. I close my lips slowly. Bite his teeth and turn over little by little. The sound of corrugated cloth. I lay my face on the pillow. The thin back was as stiff as a plank. It's under the eardrum. Vinh stands next to the drum. The oil bottle in his hand suddenly became hot. What does he have to do next? He has to touch you. Sister pulled up her shirt a little bit, his voice hoarse. He saw my shoulders trembling, but I didn't say anything. 2 hands around the back. Grab the skirt. Then slowly pull it up to reveal a back. Just a little bit around the waist. 4 pieces of meat from a 46-year-old woman. It's not as white as the young girl's. It's the skin of someone who's been through the rain. But it's still smooth and warm. Vinh swallowed saliva. He opened the oil bottle. The hot, pungent smell came straight up his nose. It smells like jasmine. He poured some oil out of his rough palms. My yard bottle. Oil heater space. He took a breath and put his hand on the skin. My whole sister jumped up. Your skin shrank under his touch. A reaction just out of surprise. Because of the heat of oil. I'm sorry, I hurried my hand. Your voice is not stuck in the pillow. Uncle, do it. It's just a little startled. He knows he put his hand back. This time he kept quiet. Transmit warmth. From the palms of my hands into the tensed flesh. And then he started rubbing. He rubbed slowly in a circle. The watchman's rough hands. Now strangely careful. He felt every vertebra. Every muscle is contracting under the skin. Though there are traces of the years. But still smooth, warm and very feminine. He's no longer the 24-year-old. He is a man. Taking care of a woman. That's the right place. The pain of crying is no longer pain. It's a relaxation, a pleasant tolerance. Press hard a little. He uses his thumb. Put pressure on the acupressure on the side of your back. I can't hold back my voice, I can't hold it. Glorious hurry to loosen hands. He felt his hands burning, the sound was so hot. No, 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 no. It's stinging, but it's pleasant. He continues. His hand moved from his waist to his shoulder. He can feel the lining. Deep under the fabric. And he deliberately avoided it. The smell of hot oil mixed with the smell of sweat. The smell of the old woman's body. To form a kind of suffocating atmosphere. Uneasy in the small room. He saw his sweat drenched in the back of his shirt. This is not a well dive. Dirty well diving, but it's fair. And this one, it's a secret touch. A permitted infringement. He massaged for almost 15 minutes. Until his palms burned. And Owen's back is burning red. Do you feel better? He asked in a loud voice. Mrs. Owen did not answer immediately. I just took a deep breath. Like a little bit of a burden. Then you slowly resist, and you've helped a lot. You're good. She sat up but turned her back on him. Hurry up and pull down your shirt. I didn't seem to dare to look at him right away. Vinh also stepped back in a hurry to close the oil bottle. Like wanting to cover up my confused feelings. He said he was in a hurry to leave his niece and nephew. He hurriedly turned around and walked quickly. Out the door as if fleeing from the stifling air. From the smell of hot oil and my own confusion. Glorious to hear you call him back. A faint sound. But enough for him to stop at the door. He began to catch her eyes. My face is red now, probably because of the hot oil. But also because of a deep embarrassment. He didn't dare to guess. The pajamas, she pointed to the suit he put on the table. A small voice, thank you for bringing it back. Yes, he nodded, trying to keep his voice calm. Don't try to do anything heavy. He rushed out the door. Dashing into the scorching sun to my room. Then close the door. Lock yourself in a familiar mess. But he couldn't calm down. He stood in the middle of the room. My heart beats like I've run a long way. He raised his hand to the watchman's rough hand. What he always sees is the glass. Now it's shiny because it's rich. He put his hand up his nose and took a deep breath. And the pungent smell of Truong Sun Wind Oil. Straight to the sense of smell. But it can't mask another smell. It's a soft smell. It smells like jasmine soap. It smells like warm meat. The smell of a woman. Glory, close the door. Lock yourself in a familiar mess. But he couldn't calm down. He stood in the middle of the room. My heart beats like I've run a long way. Your chest is inflating uncomfortably. He raised his hand to the watchman's rough hand. What he always sees is the glass. Now it's shiny because it's rich. He put his hand up his nose. Take a deep breath. And the pungent smell of Truong Sun Wind Oil. Straight to the sense of smell. It's a pungent old black smell. But it can't mask another smell. It's a soft smell. It smells like jasmine soap. It smells like warm meat. The smell of a woman. He hurried to the bathroom. Screw cold water faucet. Then use the soap bar itself. Lifebuoy has its pungent smell. Rub it hard. trying to wash away the slippery traces of oil and the feeling of guilt. He was worried about the soft skin he had touched. The water flowed away, but the pungent smell of the oil, still clinging to the fingernails. And that feeling of softness and warmth of the skin. It seemed to be in his hands. Can't wash away. But all afternoon Vinh could not be quiet. He tried to lie down on the bed. But the thin wall tang. What used to be just an annoying barrier. It's now turned into a filter. Sound giant. It captures all his senses. He heard. He heard your voice. Oanh carried me on the bamboo mat. A creaking sound full of fatigue. He heard her hokan. A compressed cough in the throat. He even heard a sigh. A heavy breath of resignation. He can't focus on doing anything. He tried to read a book. But his eyes are fixed on the limestone wall. He tried to sleep, but his hands went up. He's bugging the 24-year-old. Suddenly bound by silence. And a soft moan. Of a woman worthy of her mother's age. I heard his promise. It's no longer a spontaneous statement. It's become a responsibility. It's dark, the heat of the day. Give way to the heat of a night. It's about to rain again, and Vinh's stomach starts to boil. He got up and took the last packet of shrimp noodles and made boiling water. The smell of onions. The smell of sweet powder came up into his nose. And immediately a thought hit him in the head. He's a healthy young man with shrimp noodles to eat. And you? A 46-year-old woman. Lying all alone by the wall. With a tight back. Does anyone cook for you? That back pain he knows. Just moving is a torture. What to say about getting up in the kitchen? He looked at the 8 shrimp noodles puffing. The hunger suddenly disappeared. Instead, it's a feeling of guilt. An annoyance that rises to a bitter choking. He can't sit here and eat noodles. While he knows well. Over the wall the woman washed his underwear. The woman he touched could be lying there hungry. He dropped his chopsticks. He put on the t-shirt in a hurry. Put your feet in slippers and open the door. The night has dropped a narrow alley filled with the smell of flowers. The sweet smell. The darkness is now intertwined with the heat of the night. It's a reminder of loneliness. He goes quickly to the end of the road. Where there is a porridge shop that still sells until late at night. He doesn't think much. He just knew he had to do it. 8 minced meat porridge, he told the hostess. Not much pepper. He remembers that people with back pain often need to eat pepper for warmth. He's waiting for his palms to start licking again. Not because they're rich, but because they're nervous. What is he doing? This is not a well repair, this is not a massage. Here's something else. This is interest. He's crossing a new line on his own. A boundary. It's more dangerous than a black well. He's got 8 hot porridge. Evaporate and go back to the lane. The heat in his hand. He is standing in front of the door of your house. This time he did not return to his room. No pressure on the wall, no banging. That secret signal is of late night. Of the unexpected. And now here's an 8 porridge. He took a breath, raised his hand and knocked on the old wooden door. A decidedly clear percussion. Inside the hammock's creaking sound. Then the sound of my footsteps was heavy and slow. And a soft howl of pain. The door is stuck open. My sister stood there. Her hands were against the door, her face pale and tired. The yellow light flashed from the house. Make the wrinkles around your eyes deeper. Your eyes when you see him. And then when I looked down, 8 hot porridge evaporated on his hands. Suddenly broke. It's not a surprise. It's not your gratitude. It's something that panics. A nakedness. It's like he just caught the weak part. The most lonely thing you're trying to hide. But Own's eyes when she looked at her feet. 8 hot porridge is evaporating in his hands. Suddenly, it's not a surprise. It's not just gratitude. It's something that panics. A nakedness. As if this young man had just used a kind act. It's easy to strip away the weak part. The most lonely thing you've tried to hide. All these years. The 46-year-old took a step back. His hands were still clinging to the edge of the door as if it's the only lifeboat. And just try to shake your head. Uncle, what are you doing? Her voice was hoarse and weak but full of rejection. I don't need you to take it home. I'm going to close the door one way. Familiar self-defense. Someone who is used to living alone. Get used to dealing with all the pain yourself. But Vinh did not move. He didn't say anything either. He just looked straight into your tired eyes. And then he slipped through the door. A somewhat violent act. An unauthorized intrusion. He walked straight into the house. Bring the heat and smell of porridge. Minced meat of pepper. The smell of life. In stark contrast to the stagnant air. The smell of wind oil and the loneliness inside. Sister, sister. She raised a voice of protest, but it was too late. He was inside. A small room. The woman's tidy mess appeared in front of his eyes. It's not the kitchen, it's where you eat and sleep. He saw the rock you just laid. The pillow was still a dent and the little wooden table. Just enough to put a plate of rice. Vinh put 8 porridge on the table. Va porcelain crockery on the wood. Makes a crisp sound. Cut through the stifling silence. Eat, he said, his voice still cold. He didn't turn around. He didn't come back. He just stood there. A chai guy 24 tall, big, muscular. Fill the tight space. It is narrow and he is. She stood dead at the door. I looked at his wide back and then at the 8. The heat from 8 porridge rises, dimming the air like a mist. I'm shivering, I don't know what to do. I can handle the back pain. I can withstand a broken well. But I don't know how to endure this interest. It's so naked, it's so strange. I eat or not, you hungry? Vinh interrupts back. I hear your belly boiling over the wall. That's a lie. He didn't hear. But that lie. There's more weight to this moment than any truth. It completely knocked down the woman's front line. Your ears were ringing, he heard. He could hear your stomach boiling. He heard you moaning. He could hear the thin wall of Tankia. It has denounced all your miserable misery. The old woman walked forward like a sleepwalker. I dare not look at him. She sat down in the chair, her thin shoulders trembling. I look at 8. White, fragrant, hot. Something that no one has brought you in a long time. Eat, he repeated, softening his voice a little. It's no longer an order, it's a clumsy plea. Own slowly picked up the spoon. Glad to see your hand. Rough hand's corrugated bottle. His hand grabbed his wrist, and he pulled it up from the well. His hands were exhausted washing his underwear. It's shaking now. I was so nervous I couldn't put the spoon in 8. In a steady way. Long. The Va spatula into 8 makes a harsh binding sound. She was embarrassed and hurried her hands back. The silence enveloped. In that moment. I can't believe you're a masquerade. He couldn't see the momentum under his shirt. He saw a 46-year-old woman. Weak, lonely and shivering for a 8 porridge. A feeling that is not a desire. It's not pity. It's something more primitive. It's an instinct to wrap it up. Want to possess. This weakness rises in his chest. He walked over and said nothing. He bent down and took the spoon from her hand. My sister raised her eyes wide open in horror. You're going to take a spoonful of porridge and blow it down. And bring it to your mouth. The whole world stopped. A guy 24, women 46 and a spoonful of porridge. This action. It's intimate and it's naked. It's more intrusive than the touch of the hand. Rubbing oil on the bare back. Last night. I am myself. She turned her face away and tears suddenly came out. You eat near the voice. Your hands are shaking and you're pouring them out. He patiently kept the spoon there. The heat in your face. Close your eyes and accept. She slowly opened her mouth and took the spoon from his hand. The sweetness of minced meat. The pungent taste of pepper. And the salty taste of tears mixed together. Down your throat. He took the second spoon and then the third. He eats and you eat. No one said a word. Only heavy breathing. The sound of Mrs. and metal VA into porcelain. He fed me all 8 porridge without missing a drop. The long silence after the heavy last piece. Thank you, my voice cracked. I dare not look up at him. Put the empty 8 down. He takes a step back, creates a gap. He felt his chest beating too. He's done something he can't turn back. Take a break, he said hoarsely. Don't try to do anything. Pain is knocking on the wall. Don't let me hear the moaning anymore. He took the empty 8. Turn your back and walk out the door. He closed the door more carefully when he arrived. He stood outside the alley, leaning against the wall of my house panting. There was still warmth in his hand. The smell of fireworks tonight seems stronger, sweet in a way, makes him feel bad. But he knows the thin wall. It's no longer a barrier. Since tonight, it's become a bridge. A dangerous hidden bridge. But both in one way or another. Everyone has stepped up. Vinh stood outside the alley with his back against the wall of his house. The wall is still warm and slightly sunny in the afternoon. I still have warmth in his hands. The smell of fireworks tonight seems stronger, sweet in a way. It's an inviting smell. Makes the 24-year-old feel groggy. He knows the thin wall. It's no longer a barrier. Since tonight, it's become a bridge. A dangerous hidden bridge. But both in one way or another. Everyone has stepped up. The days after that, Vinh's life was completely turned upside down. Even though nothing on the outside has changed, the wall is no longer an inanimate object. It turns into a giant eardrum. A fragile skin that trembles. Transmit all the sounds of life. From the other room. He no longer listens to the groans of pain. He started listening to other things. He hears your voice. He drove me on the bamboo mat at 2 o'clock in the morning. He heard you sigh. A lonely heavy breath that melts into the night. He heard the sound of the water running softly. When you're trying so hard to clean yourself. And the signal is loud. It's no longer a call for help. It's become a habit. The next afternoon he knocked. There is a silence over there. And then it goes on. And he brought it. This time it's a box of ribs. He didn't say anything. He just put it on the table. Take the empty 8 from yesterday. But Owen didn't say anything. I just sat there looking at him. The face is still pale. But the eyes are no longer panic. It's an acceptance. A tired acceptance. Doomed as if. I know I can't resist the interest. Somewhat rough. This stubbornness of his. He became the only man. In your house. Even though he just walked in to put the lunchbox down and left. He brought you food. And in exchange, I washed his clothes. The t-shirt smelled of cigarettes. His old worn shorts. Show up every day on a clean line. It smells like jasmine soap. The smell of the woman clinging to his clothes. Clinging to his flesh. As an invisible marker of sovereignty. He was wearing a clean shirt and smelling it. And he's thinking about the wall. Think of your sigh. Their relationship is woven by the sounds. Silence with the smell. By 8 rice and by silence. They don't talk. They don't need to talk. They only have the wall. My back also helps. A week after that fateful rainy night. Vinh is lying. Ears still pressed against the wall as a habit. Then he heard. It's not a moan, it's not a sigh. He heard the sound. The way of the cutting knife. A rustling sound when the grease meets the fire. You are cooking. I got up on my own and went into the kitchen. I don't need him anymore. The simple sound of that life. The sound should have made him feel better. Is the opposite. It made his chest feel like it was going up. It's a strange loss. The bridge has no reason to exist. He didn't knock on the wall that afternoon. And there's no knock in return. He didn't buy any rice that afternoon. He smells of shrimp noodles. But he found it strangely bland. He smoked outside that night. Looking out the window of Owen's house. The yellow light is still shining. He saw your shadow going back and forth. Nimble, tidy. You're back to being the wrong single, own and self-controlled. The well has been repaired. The back has healed everything back into its orbit. There's only one thing that can't be returned. It was him weeks later. Drifting in a stifling silence. The wall is back as a wall. It's silent. But this silence is more terrifying than the silence before. It used to be the silence of two strangers. Now it's the silence of two people who know each other so well. They touched each other. We fed each other and washed each other's clothes. And now deliberately pretending they don't know the existence of the other side. I sometimes put my ear to the wall. He didn't hear anything. She also seems to be holding her breath. You're listening to him too, aren't you? Are you waiting for a knock? Or you're afraid of a knock? Another hot evening about to rain. The smell of flowers rushed into the room. Sweet day over. Glad to sit alone in the dark. Handheld cigarette. Eyes staring at the limestone wall. He's a mess he can't name. He remembers the smell of oil. He misses the warm skin. He remembers the way you shivered when you picked up a spoonful of porridge. He stood up. He walked up to the wall. He held up his fist hesitantly. Should he knock? Typing for what? The well didn't break, the back didn't hurt. He knocked to say something. To reclaim the feeling of being a protected man. Or to say that this smell of magic. It made him unbearable. His hands are hanging in front of the cold wall. He didn't knock and there wasn't a sound. The soldiers slowly lowered their hands. He sat back down on the bed. Bury your face in the palm of your hand. The well was repaired a long time ago. But the 24-year-old realized there was something deeper. More secretly just dug up by the rain that night. And it can never be filled again.